Ford Ranchero, the mule in musclecar clothing. So imagine this. It's the late 1950s, Elvis is gyrating his hips on TV, and Ford decides to do something utterly mad. They create a vehicle that's neither fully a car, nor entirely a truck. It's a mutant, a hybrid, a chimera, and they call it the Ford Ranchero. Now, you might think that mixing a sedan with a pickup truck is some Frankenstein-level lunacy, but the Ranchero was a stroke of rebellious genius. It debuted in 1957, based initially on the Ford Fairlane, looking like a car that suddenly remembered it needed to haul half a forest. And haul it could, with a bed that could carry nearly half a ton. Yes, you heard right, half a ton. This wasn't just a car you drove to the grocery store. You could take it to the lumberyard and come back with enough timber to build a small cabin. What made the Ranchero a sensation wasn't just its payload, but the sheer audacity of its design. It looked like someone chopped the rear off a sedan and said, you know what? Let's make it double as a swimming pool. Early models sported fins sharp enough to fillet a swordfish, and chrome that screamed 50s American excess. You wouldn't just drive this thing. You'd glide down Main Street like you were leading a parade. Under the bonnet, you had options galore. You could start mild with a wheezy inline-six, more suited to a riding mower. But for the true lunatics, there were V8s that turned this farmer's helper into a tarmac shredder. By the mid-60s, the Ranchero was based on the Falcon, and you could get one with engines going up to 271 horsepower. Imagine throttling that through the gears. It felt like being strapped to a Saturn V rocket while holding a bag of groceries. And the interiors. The Ranchero's cabin was spacious enough to host a family reunion. Bench seats that were more like sofas from your Aunt Mabel's front room. A dashboard festooned with chrome and knobs that resembled a spacecraft control panel. It had more character than a Quentin Tarantino flick. Driving the Ranchero was an exercise in both pleasure and perplexity. The V8 growl as you floored it was pure automotive nirvana. But with an empty bed, the rear end danced around like a cat on a hot tin roof. It didn't corner so much as survive them, and the brakes were best described as enthusiastic, but ultimately delusional. The Ranchero wasn't just about style and utility. It became an icon of versatility. This was a car truck that surfed, camped, and even raced. Yes, that's right. Ford made racing versions, turning this utility maestro into a dragstrip demon. Eventually, it even embraced the musclecar era. In the 1970s, you could get one with a 429 Cobra jet engine, which sounds more like a weapon than a motor. But like all good things, the Ranchero's wild ride couldn't last forever. As the 70s wound down, so did the enthusiasm for these versatile haulers. Ford ended the Ranchero line in 1979, handing the reins over to the more conventional pickup trucks. Yet, the legacy of the Ranchero lingers. It was more than just a car or a truck. It was an attitude, a statement, a rolling middle finger to conventional categories. So, if you ever find yourself in the driver's seat of a Ford Ranchero, cherish it. Load it up with anything and everything you desire, because this is a vehicle that doesn't just carry cargo. It carries history, moxie, and the spirit of a bygone era when automakers dared to be different. Enjoyed riding through the wacky history of the Ford Ranchero? Smash that like button, subscribe to Atoa-sans, and tell us about the wildest car truck hybrid you've ever seen. Stay tuned for more quirky automotive tales.